Once upon a time, in a small Yoruba village named Àyétòrò, there was a king named Ọba Àdìàlú. He ruled with an iron hand, and the villagers were very afraid of him. Ọba Àdìàlú was strong and powerful, but he was also cruel. He made heavy rules, collected too many taxes, and punished anyone who spoke against him. Life in Àyétòrò was hard, and people lived in fear. Every morning, the villagers woke up before the rooster crowed to farm and work, only to give most of what they earned to the king's guards. Children were afraid to laugh too loudly, and parents whispered in their homes so that no one would hear and report them. But despite their silence, the people's hearts were heavy with sadness. One day, a young lady named Olufunk was walking by the river. She had seen enough suffering in the village, and her heart was tired of fear. Olufunk was not wealthy, and she had no special powers, but she was brave. Her mother used to tell her, "Courage is not the absence of fear but the strength to stand even when you are afraid." These words gave her strength. Olufunk decided to speak up. She gathered her closest friends and told them, "We must change our village. We cannot continue to live in fear of the king. If we stand together, we are stronger than him." Her friends were scared. "Olufunk, no one can fight Ọba Àdìàlú. He will punish us," they said. But Olufunk replied, "If we do not try, we will suffer forever." Word spread about Olufunk's plan. Some villagers were afraid to join, but a few brave ones came forward. Together, they made a plan. They decided to meet at the village square and call out the king. It was dangerous, but Olufunk believed it was their only hope. On a bright morning, when the sun was high and hot, Olufunk and her supporters gathered at the village square. The guards quickly reported to Ọba Àdìàlú. The king, furious, stormed out of his palace. He wore his heavy crown and fine robes, and his voice was like thunder. "Who dares to disturb my peace?" he roared. With trembling hands but steady eyes, Olufunk stepped forward. "It is I, Olufunk," she said. "We, the people of Àyétòrò, are tired of your cruel rule. We cannot continue to suffer. You take too much from us, and we live in fear. This must stop." The villagers gasped. No one had ever spoken to the king like this. Ọba Àdìàlú laughed cruelly. "You dare challenge me? You are just one young girl. I can crush you like an ant." But Olufunk stood her ground. "I may be one person, but together, we are many," she said, pointing to the crowd that had gathered behind her. The king saw the villagers standing with Olufunk. They looked afraid but determined. This made him pause. He realized that fear was what kept them under his rule, and if they no longer feared him, he would have no power. Enraged, Ọba Àdìàlú ordered his guards to arrest Olufunk. But as the guards approached, something incredible happened. The villagers stepped forward, forming a circle around her. "You will have to go through all of us," they said. The guards hesitated. They were outnumbered and knew that a fight against their own people would lead to disaster. Ọba Àdìàlú realized he was losing his grip on the people. He needed a different tactic. "What do you want?" he asked, trying to sound calm but failing to hide his anger. Olufunk spoke firmly, "We want fair treatment. No more heavy taxes. No more punishments for speaking out. We want peace and respect." The king saw that he had no choice. If he refused, he might lose everything. With a deep, frustrated sigh, he said, "I will reduce the taxes and treat everyone fairly. But know this, you have tested me." Olufunk looked at him without fear. "No, Ọba Àdìàlú. We reminded you that a true king rules with kindness and listens to his people. If you forget this again, we will stand together." From that day on, the village began to change. The king kept his promise, not because he wanted to, but because he had no choice. Olufunk continued to lead the villagers, ensuring everyone was treated fairly. She became a symbol of courage and hope, proving that even the smallest voice could spark great change when brave enough to speak. The villagers no longer lived in fear, and they honored Olifanke's bravery for generations. She taught them that strength does not come from power but from the courage to stand up for what is right. And so, Àyétòrò became a village of peace, where everyone's voice mattered, all because one young lady dared to confront a king.